Today we're making a mythical mead called Miruvor from Lord of the Rings. I'm very excited about this. We have been working on this one for quite some time, trying to figure out the best way to do things. And basically, when you look through Lord of the Rings, Miruvor is a sweet, flowery mead. That's exactly what it is. So we're making a mead.
This had to be a little bit more thought forward than just dumping honey and flowers in a vat.
Yeah, it's got to be thematic.
This is made by elves, ladies and gentlemen, and elves know their shit.
Okay. So the honey we're going to use was actually donated by one of our VIP members, John Pickering. It's from Ames Farm. It's 100% pure honey, raw US grade A. And here's what caught my attention and why we're using it for Miruvor. Made from Minnesota flowers, sunshine, and rain. I thought, you know, what screams elves more than saying that? Yeah. Not the Minnesota part, the flowers, sunshine, and rain. Oh boy, that's a good choice. That's a nice smelling honey.
That's a nice honey.
Now, you'll notice there's no scale because we have exactly 2.9 pounds according to the jar. Can you just hold this?
I can hold.
This is our 1.5 gallon fermenter. I bought 4 more of them just recently because I got to get all this honey in there and it's kind of loose. Oh, look at that. Okay, stand up straight.
This and all of the items that we're going to be using to create this mead have been sanitized in the red bucket of sanitization with Star San diluted with water to the manufacturer's recommendations.
No jazz hands?
Nope.
Every time you don't do jazz hands, 15 people give me a hard time.
You know why I'm not doing jazz hands today, ladies and gentlemen? Would elves do jazz hands? No, I don't think they would.
Depends on the elves. Some elves might.
Okay, this isn't Keebler. This is Lord of the Rings. They're serious. Because we're using the full volume of our container of honey, we can do the water trick.
Right. We have 96 ounces of water. Why? Because every pound of honey is roughly 11 fluid ounces. So that makes 3 pounds roughly a quart. So, you know, take 1 quart away and you got 96 ounces from a gallon. This is a 1 gallon batch, if you haven't figured that out by now.
This is warm water, which is going to aid in loosening up that honey so we get every little bit into our fermentation.
Want not. There's quite a bit at the bottom of the jar.
Yeah. I can do it a couple of times. And that's all right. That's all right. I didn't say it because when I say it, it makes Brian cringe.
It's probably more cringy when I say it. And because this is the start of fermentation, like it hasn't started yet, we want some air in there. So that's why I don't mind mixing it up like that. It actually aerates really, really nicely when you do this. So it's an effective way to do it.
All that foam?
Do not fear the foam. So why is aeration a good thing at this stage?
Well, Brian, it's a good idea at this stage because this is the aerobic stage of life in yeast's life cycle, meaning that they use the oxygen to get swole, to get big and strong, and get their cell walls all pumped up.
Sure. It's also called the lag phase.
They're not lagging, no. They're lifting weights or oxygen.
All right, I think I got it all.
That looks pretty clean to me.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to throw it.
No, just no.
Okay, so now
right.
We want to mix it in more.
Let's finish adding our water.
Yep.
Does that work for you?
Go for it. Pour it in. Do it. I'm not done yet.
All right, I didn't do the crazy...
I thought she was going to get interesting.
Crap.
I got to mix this up now.
Which means you need an implement of stirring.
I do.
And our implement of choice is this paddle. It's a spoon. It's a paddle. It's both. Get yours in the description below.
Again, a little splashing is okay. Now with these containers, I've been told you want to be a little bit careful because of the squareness of them. People have had, like a couple of people have had them break. And I think if you're careful, it probably won't be a problem. But if you're like banging it around, yeah, the square wall is gonna be much easier to break than a rounded wall, just the way physics works.
If you're a student of architecture, particularly arches, you know that the curved arch is much more strong than something straight or angled.
Sure. But I think if you take care of it, these will work just fine. I like the fact that they have the markings on them and the numbers.
Yes.
They come with an airlock.
And they're glass.
There's a seal on the inside of that lid. There's literally a seal in there.
Check it out.
And they're pretty reasonably priced too. I mean, they cost just as much as a regular 1 gallon fermenter. So, and they're 1.5 gallons, which is great. The reason why we're starting to use 1.5 gallons. Why?
This is the beginning of fermentation, or
the beginning of fermentation.
Primary fermentation, whatever you want to call it. And so that's when the yeasts are going to get active. They're going to cause some foam and chaos in there. And if you have a little headspace, then they're not going to push all that activity out your airlock and create a big giant mess.
Right.
So headspace in primary fermentation, in our experience, is a good thing.
Yep.
Headspace in secondary or conditioning phase is a bad thing. We'll get more to that later.
All right, let's start adding some flavors. I think I want to try to use the rumble jar.
Okay.
I want to try.
So we have a bouquet of flowers that we're going to be adding to this mix.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't just grab them nilly-willy, because we have a lot of flowers.
Or willy-nilly, for that matter.
At our disposal. We thought, nope, let's channel our inner elf and find out, what are these flowers bringing to the party?
And this is the rumble jar. It is actually made for doing cold brew coffee. But we have found that it works great as like a, the hop filter things that hold hops in a beer so you can dry hop and remove them.
We have found so many ways to use the rumble jar. We are infinitely grateful for the rumble jar. But because we know some of these flowers are a bit goopy.
Yep, they're going to turn to mush.
We're hoping that they get maintained inside the rumble jar while letting their floral essence out into our mead.
Okay, so first up is some rose petals. Not rose hips, rose petals.
Rose hips versus rose petals, vastly different in flavor profile and what they're bringing to the party. We're going for floral forward, so that's why we're picking the petals rather than the hips.
Plus, we had a bad experience with rose hips. They were kind of weird.
Now, Brian, full disclosure, is not a fan of rose-flavored cordials or anything like that. I, on the other hand, love them all. Love them all equally and dearly. So this is definitely going to be more of a Derica mead than a Brian mead.
I will drink it under duress. I call for 5 tablespoons.
Rose doesn't lend itself to a mead as easily as some of the other flowers that we're going to be adding.
But let's talk about why rose is in this at all.
Okay, for me...
Is that 3?
That was 3, yeah. When you think of floral, you think of rose. Particularly because it doesn't have any negatives attached to it that some other floral notes do. For example, lavender was in our list of possible contendants, but there's
tastes like soap.
Many people who say that it tastes like soap. So we didn't want to have a negative added to this particular brew, because this should be the penultimate, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Of floral brews.
Now,
so no lavender.
My personal feeling on why rose is because, like Derica said, it's kind of the consummate floral flavor, but also it's going to add a really cool color to this. I think it's going to turn it kind of pinkish, which I don't remember what Miruvor was supposed to look like. I think it was more golden, but it's okay. We're taking a little bit of artistic license here.
Yes.
I think the rose is going to make a really nice looking brew, as well as a very scented brew. It's going to have that lovely scent on it. Next up is chamomile, or chamomile if you're in England.
All right, we have multiple containers just like this of chamomile, because chamomile is a regular part of our tea circulation. Why? It can help you calm down if you're feeling super stressed. It can help ease internal distress, such as headaches and digestional distress. And it just seemed medicinally, with all those things, appropriate to be adding to a brew that the elves concocted.
Yep. And that was the main reason why I wanted to do that. 3 tablespoons, by the way. So that was 5 tablespoons rose, 3 tablespoons chamomile. Mostly for the medicinal effects of it and the calming idea, because it's going to work a little bit like a hops would in a beer. It's going to calm you down just a little bit. At least that's what we're going for. We're going mythical here, okay? So just work with me. Next up is honeysuckle.
Now, honeysuckle seems thematic, as this is a honey brew, and it's supposed to be kind of the nectar of the flowers, is part of what they wrote in the books of how this came about. If you've ever done the honeysuckle trick as a kid or as an adult or right now, because I'm suggesting it to you, if you have honeysuckle, traditional honeysuckle, not Cape honeysuckle, you can remove the innards of the flower and suck on them, and it tastes like honey.
Thus the name.
Fantastic.
Honeysuckle. Now, I called for 2 tablespoons of this. Because of its shape, I couldn't really measure it with a spoon, so that's about 2 tablespoons. I mean, it's not like the herb police are going to show up at my house if I put a half a tablespoon too much in. I made the recipe up anyway. Next up is going to be elderflower.
Now, elderflower is another traditional...
It's been used for a lot of things.
It has a lot of
medicinal
and mysticism connected with the elderflower, be it elderberry, which has strong medicinal powers. But we've known from working with the flower, it has an earthy or a grounding note, which we think is important to add to the mix of the other flowers that we have incorporated in this.
I called for 4 tablespoons of this. I think I'm going to change.
2.
2.
2.
It had the strongest smell so far. And that, that right there is how you do recipes properly.
Yeah.
Don't just blindly follow what's on the paper.
Elder is...
Even though I did the research, and this is what came up, but it just feels wrong.
Mother Elder is potent in all ways, so...
Hibiscus.
Let's treat her with some respect. All right, next up is hibiscus. As far as color goes, hibiscus is going to give us the most color. It's probably going to instantly turn this red.
We debated on hibiscus.
Once we put this in here. But hibiscus brings something to the table that none of the other elements do, and that is a citrusy note, which we felt was really important to create a more harmonious and balanced feel of this brew.
I'm going to call this about half a tablespoon of hibiscus if you're using just dried hibiscus. And I'm going to put it right in with the other stuff because I don't think it needs to float separate.
Now these tea bags we got at Walmart today because we can't find our giant
huge bag of hibiscus. And we can't find it.
I don't know where it went. It's hiding from us. It's very sad.
So anyway, before this goes in, I should probably take a reading.
Are we doing any of this?
Oh, meadowsweet? I didn't have meadowsweet on the list, but you know what? Why not?
The reason why I'm pushing meadowsweet is many people proclaim that meadowsweet is like the OG flower for mead making.
So just for tradition's sake, we can include it.
And this particular bag was harvested from Poland. That just seems apropos to add it to the mix.
We have used meadowsweet dry, this exact bag, in mead before. I only spilled a little. Yeah,
see? It's almost like you did that accidentally on purpose.
Yeah, that was purpose. That was on purpose, just to show on the show. I believe fresh meadowsweet actually is the way you want to go. We've not had tremendous luck with meadowsweet when used dry, just so you know. I don't think it's bad, just didn't really think it brought much. It's my opinion.
I agree with that opinion, but I still feel like it's an important addition.
I'm not disagreeing. And since you're going to be the one that's going to be consuming this for the most part, I'll allow it. How's that?
Yeah, okay, that's everybody.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different kinds of herbs and flowers.
That's a nice bouquet.
Yeah. Should I take a reading before I stick this in there?
Yes, absolutely. Let me get that for you.
Now, I'm also going to be putting in the tilt. This is a digital hydrometer. I love using these. We're doing it for a specific reason that'll come up later in this video, but it's just going to pull double duty. I am still going to check with a hydrometer just because that's what I'm used to, and it gives me a good reference point. I'm expecting this to be somewhere around 1.100 to 1.110, somewhere in that range. Probably closer to 1.110. 1.100. So what that means is if this ferments out to dry, it'll be about 13.125%. And you can know that just by putting your finger right on the 1.100 and turning your triple scale hydrometer, and it goes right to 13%. So
on the potential
alcohol. That's assuming it goes to dry, okay? And when you're using that scale, that's how you have to use it, is take the first measurement minus the last measurement, and then you subtract them. That's it. So like if right now it says potential of 13, and it stopped at, where it says 2, 13 minus 2 would be 11%. There you go. Easy peasy. Time to add in, add in our flowers and herbs and stuff. I'm wondering if it's going to change colors immediately for us. Nah.
I don't know where the hibiscus is in there.
It's in the middle-ish. It's fine. It's fine. It'll change over time. It's okay.
Did you notice how far up your herbs?
Yeah, only like halfway.
Okay, fantastic. So that way we know they should be potentially all submerged, or at least have the ability to be all submerged.
There was some concern as to whether they'd all get touched or if they'd just compress in there and not really extract. I have a feeling I'm going to have to, instead of just swirling this one, actually get in there and like do this a little bit every now and then, which is fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Totally good. Okay, for yeast, we're going to be using Red Star Premier Cote de Blanc.
Why are we using that? That's a good question. Let me read to you why we're using that. Because it's known for its aromatic, yeasty, or fruity floral white wines. So it is going to pump up the volume on those floral notes for us, which is perfect for this Miruvor brew.
All right, and half packet going in.
Back your packet.
Yeah. Got to get all those yeast in there to fulfill their destiny. Okay, so this is the question that always comes up. How long does it take? As long as it takes. It could be a week or two. It could be 3 to 4 weeks. It's fine. It doesn't matter, but we do need an airlock.
But there's some things we need to take in consideration with this particular procedure. So the first thing to consider is that we want to make sure that we can extract all of those floral notes out of the flowers that we've added, so it needs to be a long enough time frame for that to occur.
2 to 3 weeks is probably plenty.
The second thing we need to take into consideration is we used all of the honey that we were going to use to brew this. So ideally, if the perfect synchronization between the extraction of the floral notes without it fermenting to dry occurs, which we'll know because we have a tilt in there, then we can stop the fermentation process and have a perfectly floral, perfectly sweet brew without back sweetening.
That's the idea. It has been 10 days, and my tilt is saying that this is at 1.028, which is below where we wanted to stop this just because of, sweetness levels. But we're going to check it anyway and find out for sure where we're at. Using the new North Mountain small size hydrometer, I could almost put it in here. Almost. No, I'm not going to this time. There was a bubble between the rumble jar and the rest of it. I wanted to show you guys, but
it was just a fun thing. It was just from the gas buildup from fermentation.
This looks like a flowery color to me.
It does.
Now, I use a tilt so that I can monitor, but I actually rely on the hydrometer readings at the end. To me, that's just a much more consistent way of doing things. That way, if the tilt isn't super accurate, I don't have to worry about it. Pretty darn close. 1.030. Just to give you an idea, using the calculator teacher said I would never have handy, how much alcohol we have made. We have a starting gravity of 1.100. We have a finishing gravity, because we're going to stop this at 1.030. Gives us 70 points used up, or 0.070, times 131.25, which is the coefficient of choice, gives us 9.18 alcohol by volume. I am okay with that, especially since it's been 10 days. 10 days. That's unbelievable. But let's rack this right now, because we don't need any more of the stuff that's in here anymore. But do you have sanitized hands?
I do. Let me get our pitcher. And what I'm going to do
is grab the rumble jar.
And I'm going to very slowly remove it. So that way, if there's any liquid in there,
it's not going to drip and oxidize.
It's not going to oxidize.
Good job.
And I do a little tilt because I know that the bottom is solid.
Flat, yeah. Every drop is sacred.
And transfer complete.
And tilt.
Oh, and a tilt.
I want to leave that in there.
Come here, Tilt.
And we'll throw that into turbos to clean it up. And then it goes back on the shelf to the next brew.
It's actually going to sit in this for right now because it does have a significant amount of gunk on the top. That is a technical term. Do we want to do a taste now or do we want to do a rack now? We're going to have to do either at...
Well, this is all open. Let's do the rack first. But that doesn't mean that I can't get a glass prepared for the taste. It looks pretty good. And the rest I'm going to pour right into the fermenter that this is going to be stored in, because otherwise if I pour it in there, I could upset all the lees and don't need that. Okay. On to racking. Here, I'll just take that off your hands. We have source, destination. The source should always be higher. We use an auto siphon. I'm leaving the cap on. Derek is putting it in her lap because that's the most safe, convenient spot to put it in at the moment.
You'll have to supply your own lap.
Yeah, sorry. We don't have those on Amazon. I go about halfway down, get it started, and then we go. Now you'll notice this is not clear. It's not finished fermenting, but we have ways of mitigating some of that.
Now we do have a nice amount of lees in the bottom. This is mostly the
detritus,
dead yeast, and the other proteins that just fell out of suspension. Now, if we hadn't used the rumble jar, we would have a complete mess in here due to all the flowers that we added.
Probably have to use the rumble jar to rack it.
Yeah.
Funny how that works. Looks kind of like pink grapefruit juice.
It kind of does. I hope it doesn't taste like that or you'll be
Me too.
sad.
It's going to taste like flowers.
Now, some of you may be wondering, why did this take so little time to ferment? Well, we have some theories on that, and that's based on our experience with brewing with things that are a tea-like substance. So anything organic, be it petals or leaves, tends to have a really great nitrogen source to make those yeasty beasties happy, and they ferment more quickly. So that's our theory on why this went so smoothly.
You know what we didn't write down on my notes? I don't know what yeast we used. I mean, you know, because you've been watching, but I don't know at this moment. That's why it's great to have records of everything. So set up a camera and record yourself doing everything and say it out loud. That way you have a record of everything in case you forget to write it down. So that Lee's cake is actually kind of just dusting.
Yeah.
Not much really fell out. It's kind of interesting. I thought there was a thick Lee's cake. Nope, barely anything really. All right, so now that it's racked, we have, it's a little past the shoulder. We're pretty good for oxidation. We have our sample. It smells kind of funky. Not like spoiled funky, just unique. Isn't it?
It smells like flowers.
All right, maybe that's what I'm getting at.
It smells like perfume, actually.
Yeah. Kind of smells like your great-grandmother's closet.
All right, we did mention earlier, I think, that floral
this is not my thing.
cordials, I like, Brian not so much.
She's not going to give anything away. That's really nice.
For 10 days, that's spectacular.
Yeah.
It has a nice, bright, acidic punch to it
There's just enough acidity.
that I think came from our hibiscus.
Hibiscus, yep.
And that's why I wanted to put that in there. The floral aroma pairs lovely with the flavor, but it doesn't have that dreaded grapefruit flavor.
No, it really doesn't.
Which we were concerned about.
And I think, it's fine now, but in a year, I think it's going to be even more amazing.
I'm actually getting a nice amount of rose on this.
Yeah. I think everything came through just enough that nothing is overpowering. It definitely comes across as mead, but it comes across as flowery mead, which, what is Miruvor? Flowery mead.
Yeah. If you said, I made Miruvor, and you handed this to somebody, they would probably go, yes, you did.
Because this is still an active fermentation. You can see bubbles coming up the side. This needs to be pasteurized. And in pasteurizing it early like this, it does a couple things. One, it causes a couple of problems, which I'll talk about in a second. But what it does is it's going to kill the yeast. So there's no more live yeast, and they're going to start to fall out of suspension. Pasteurization helps with that. Immediately after pasteurization, we're going to cold crash it, which just means to drop the temperature. Well, not immediately. We're going to let it come to room temperature first.
Yeah.
No thermal shock on the bottle, okay? No. So this will go into the fridge and it'll cold crash down to like 35 or 40 degrees for probably a week to help it clear out. So this should come out much more clear than it is right now.
It's not a guarantee.
Right.
But normally that's what happens.
And that's the things that can happen with pasteurization right now is it might stay cloudy. Is that a huge deal to me? No, because if it looked like this forever, I don't really care. This looks like a fruit punch to me, so it actually works. But the advantage of stopping early. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it. We could have let this run dry and then sweetened. But the advantage to stopping it early is the yeast consume sugars in different speeds. So different types of sugars that are in the honey get consumed at different speeds. By leaving some of those behind but not others, we actually end up with a different tasting, more complex, in our opinion, and semi-sweeter product because the sugars that are left are a little bit sweeter to the palate. So it makes a very interesting way of doing things. It's just another method.
Yep.
The other method is let this ferment out dry. You'll get a little bit more alcohol, obviously, like 30 more points worth of alcohol. And you can back sweeten and then pasteurize to taste, or back sweeten to taste, then pasteurize to stop further fermentation. Now, it will taste different because you would be adding about 4% more ABV to this. It will come out to about 13% if you let it go dry. Totally fine either way. I like this at 9. I think it's supposed to be an easy drinking thing that you can just enjoy. One of those things that you don't know there's alcohol until you try to stand up after having a couple bottles. That's what this is. You know, it's definitely the kind of thing that, oh, this is wonderful, this is great. Oh my God, I'm drunk. You know, it's that kind of thing. And I think that's what it was meant to be. So we're going to pasteurize this, then cold crash it. See you in a week. Okay, so we pasteurize it, and it's been sitting. I did not cold crash it. I don't remember if we said we were going to or not, but I just want to be clear. I did not cold crash it.
But yet,
it came out nicely clear anyway. It has this, wow.
It retained its color. Yay.
It has a pinkish hue. I love these fancy little
That
glasses.
is beautiful. I am so pleased with that color.
Wow. Yeah, it's got like that rosy, just barely perceptible color.
Hopefully, yeah, you can see there.
All right, so color is gorgeous. It's like, you know, it's got a pinkish hue.
It's kind of pinky.
Pinkish
peachy.
hue.
It's fantastic. It's like, okay, if elves made mead,
Yeah, that's what it would look
it'd
like.
look like this. Totally.
Fantastic. On the smell.
I get the rose. It's a bouquet of flowers
Yep. Flowery.
that have been
honey.
drizzled with honey.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It really, the rose really comes through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see this being a good copy of Miruvor. Holy crap. Is there apple in this? No.
Nope.
I taste apple.
It's interesting how the honey with the different florals kind of have that appley taste.
It really does. Not in a bad way.
No, it's delightful.
This is fantastic.
I'm
This is way better than I
Okay.
thought it was going to be.
when Brian said, "Hey, let's make Miruvor," I'm like, seriously, you want to go there? If we mess this up, we are in deep poo-poo. I was afraid. I had the fear.
This is a success.
I am so pleased.
And yeah, these are tiny little glasses. These are the fanciest little lead crystal things we could find. Just seemed like it was the most appropriate glass for this. I'm going to give you more. Hopefully you don't mind.
I am not sad with this at all.
You kind of want to just put your pinky out when you drink this.
So I'm getting a lovely sweetness up front, followed by a nicely sharp citric note. A little bit of lemony, acidy thing going on. But then that blends into the floral notes as well. I am getting, there's a smoothness that I often get with rose flavored beverages. I thought it was just some weird sensory thing, but I think it's a legitimate sensory thing.
Yeah.
That somehow the oil or something of rose gives a softness to it, like a tactile sensation.
I am loving the way they blended together because this was my fear, is that something is going to stick out and take over. But as you taste it, I can taste rose. I don't really taste the chamomile, but that's a weaker flavor. I would really have to put a lot in, and it's more earthy. I think that might be just adding to the tannic property.
Yeah, I think the elderflower, the
Honeysuckle.
chamomile, and the meadowsweet are kind of blending
Backbones,
together to make it not be overly flowery and having a more of an earthy note.
The hibiscus, honeysuckle, and rose are definitely the three prominent notes.
Right. The honeysuckle is just blending right into the honey and elevating that honey sensation. The rose is really bringing the floral sensation forward. And then the hibiscus is what's giving us that nice citrus punch, which if we didn't have that, I think
It'd just be sweet.
it would not be...
It'd be flabby.
Yeah, it'd be flabby.
No, it would. It'd be flabby. It wouldn't have any real structure.
Yeah.
Now you have a definite tannic aspect, definite acidic aspect mixing with the sweet really makes a nice overall balance. That's what we wouldn't have had otherwise.
As we've probably mentioned already, Brian typically does not like flower beverages.
This does not come across as flower mead. It really doesn't. I think it comes across like a fruity mead with some flowery notes. Very different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be flowers, 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 and I was going to be like, eh. But it actually, the apple is a prominent flavor, even though there's no apple in it. There's no apple. Your brain makes things up, though. You know, it fills in gaps. That's why everything tastes like chicken.
That's why there's no Band-Aids in Scotch, so there's no apple in this. But your brain tries to figure it out anyway.
So on your screen right now, you should be seeing our scorecard. It goes from 1 through 11, because that's right, ours goes to 11. What's not on there is the 0, and that is reserved for those things that just completely suck. My spoiler on this is, I'm fairly certain this is not a 0. Do you have a number? Mm-hmm. All right. 1, 2, 3, 10.
11.
I couldn't go the 11. Here's why. If this was truly an Elven liqueur, I think it would be higher ABV. It's 9%. Don't get me wrong. You can get sloshed on this amount of it, but I think it would be a little higher ABV.
It is so delightful. And even though it is pretty strongly flavored, it is not so aggressive that I couldn't drink a lot of this. I could drink a lot of this.
Yeah.
And at 9% ABV, I would tell myself, no problem.
Until you tried to stand up.
Until I tried to stand up. And then the elves would point and laugh.
But yeah, whenever you're making a fantasy genre type brew, there's always the questions that come up. And our main question is, how true to that brew is this going to be? Because, like, I'm not just going to name something, Hulk mead just because it's green. I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make sense to me. It needs to have something to do with the character or the show or whatever. And in this case, this is a replication of something that was just described. It's mead with flowers. It's about all you really get.
It was supposed to be sweet, and it was supposed to have a color of some sort. Some of them said golden-ish, but I feel like it needed to have a presence rather than just something clear or something typically mead looking.
But I'm pretty happy. I think we stuck to the spirit of what it was meant to be.
Yes. If somebody poured me a glass of this and said, oh, this is our version of Miruvor, I'd
believe them.
Very pleased.
Yeah, I'd be happy. This came out pretty fantastic.
Thus my 11.
All right. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.
Bye-bye.